Guild Wars 2 World vs. World Zerg play is very unique in what it requires a build to actually be meta in. So today we're gonna take a look at which build I would rate really highly and very valuable in World vs. World Zerg play and which are not. So let's start with my criteria and a disclaimer, because it's important to note that this is my opinion on the meta. It might differ from yours, so please bear that in mind. Other than that, I think builds that can support your allies very well are way more valuable than builds that are very selfish. So that means if you can't deal crazy amounts of damage and can't support your allies, you typically not be played in the Zerg. So keep that in mind as well. And now I want to mention that currently there is, I would say the meta somewhat is evolving around 3 to 4 supports per subgroup in an organized squad. And that means it's actually way more valuable to be a support than being a DPS player, because the DPS slot is probably taken by the most broken DPS class. So that's why I probably rate supports a little bit higher than I would usually rate them, just because they are more, let's say, you want to have more of them in your squad. But of course, that's just my take. So with that much out of the way, let's start with the core classes. Of course, core ranger is D tier. It's really bad. The pet dies instantly and doesn't do anything. Core elementalist, I would say, is actually C tier for me, because the weapons have generally a lot of AoE in it, so you can actually play it as a full berserker elementalist and it would actually do decent. It is inferior to the other elementalist specs. We will get to that. So I would say C tier. Maybe you could make an argument if you play some berserker staff variant. You could also put it in B tier if you play it well. It plays like a Weaver, I would say. Less DPS, but still playable. So just saying, it's probably one of the best core classes to play. Then core thief, horrible in Zerg play. Core warrior, I would say also C tier. You can play it, it's decent, it has some support baked into the kit, but I mean, why would you? There are so many better warrior specs out there. I don't know, just saying, it's also there. Then we have core revenant, never designed as a real class, so that's also D tier. Or necromancer, I would also put in tier 2. You have a lot of cleave, but you are quite slow, you are not very supportive, so you can play it as a DPS build. You are quite tanky with your second shroud, so that's nice. The second life in the shroud, rather. And that's why I would put it in C tier, but it's also overshadowed by its elite counter specs. Then we have core engineer. I would say core engineer for Zerg play is actually also quite decent. When I say quite decent, I mean it's better than D tier, but it's not insane. So I think maybe you put core elementalist in B tier just to make sure that it's a little bit above those, but just that's my take. Then we have core guardian. Core guardian is the first A tier build, I would say, because you can play it really aggressively and it actually does quite a lot of damage. It also can bring some support in it. I would say it's a low A tier build for me. Depends, of course, who you ask and how you play it, but I think it's actually a quite decent build. And then we have core Mesmer. I would also put core Mesmer in D tier. It doesn't provide anything. It has some damage, but other than that, nothing. Your illusions and clones die instantly. What are you doing? It's not really good. Okay, that's the core classes. Now let's take a look at Guardian. So Guardian, easy S tier for Firebrand. Firebrand is amazing. It's crazy good support. It's very versatile. It brings a lot of stability, healing, cleanses. It's just one of the best, if not the best support. It's crazy. It always has been since its release. It's very good for Zerg play. One of the best builds. Be sure to play it. It's really, really good. Then we have Dragon Hunter. I would say Dragon Hunter is also a very good build. It's very good in DPS. It's more selfish. It's not supporting that well, but you can also play with some kind of stand your ground and you also have some blocks. So I would say it's a low S tier build. It's not as good as Firebrand, but it's still S tier. Then we have Willbender. Willbender actually can be played very decently in Zergs. It got nerfed quite hard, but I would still say it's an A or S tier. So you can see Guardian is already, yeah, Arena and its favorite child. It's really crazy good. It's in Zerg play, just the amount of support it can bring while still dealing a lot of damage or just full healing, it's insane. It's really good. It's just such a good class. Let's continue with Revenant. So Revenant, I would say you can play Herald in Zerg play. The support, not so much, but more like as a DPS. It's not that good for that anymore, but it's still okay. So I would put it in A tier, low A tier. Then we have Renegade. Renegade got gutted so much. It was really good. It provided a lot of alacrity and stuff, but now it got gutted, so I would put it in high B tier, maybe in A tier. It doesn't provide that much anymore. The main reason why you took it was the alacrity, and now you can't provide alacrity anymore, so what are you doing? And that's why I put it in high B tier now. Then we have Vindicator. I think Vindicator is also S tier, just because of the amazing healing output it has. It got nerfed, of course, but it's still very decent in Zerg play. Nice support that you have. It's really good. Dodge a lot. Can be really helpful. multiplication is not that good, but you have a lot of healing, and that helps, of course, in Zergblade. That's why you run this, for example, with a Firebrand, and you have a really nice party composition. Let's now take a look at Warrior. So Warrior, I would say Bladezone is an easy D tier for me. Why would you play Bladezone in Zergblade? It's just very, very bad. It doesn't provide anything. The damage is bad, and Dragon Trigger will probably not hit, or if it hits, I don't know, it's just not good. And then we have Spellbreaker. I think Spellbreaker is a very good build for Zergblade. You can play as a healer, you can play as a DPS. The bubble helps a lot. You wouldn't play 10 of them in a Zerg, I would say, but it's still very good from what it can bring, the Boon Rip and stuff. So I think it's also an S tier build for me. You see, we get a really big amount of S tier builds. I don't want to min-max them even more, but I would say S tier builds are for me just easy picks. You will want to have them in every Zerg. It's not like I would say you have to have them in every party, in every subgroup, but they are very good. So that's why I would put it in S tier. Spellbreaker is one of those. And then we have Berserker. Berserker got a little bit nerfed, but it's still a very good pick as a DPS option. So I would say it's for me an A tier, just because you can easily put another DPS there. It's not very unique in what it can bring, I would say. You can bring Banner, of course, but that's about it. But let's say I would put it in high A tier, low S tier, something like that. Let's now take a look at the medium armor classes. So Thieves, very easy D tier. They are just in big Zergs, it's just not good. You can make an argument for putting them in C tier. Okay, let's put them in C tier because they can pick off some, let's say, core elementalists. So elementalists that stand a little bit outside of the Zerg and you just can kill them there. But I would say in 50 versus 50, you die instantly and you don't provide a lot of AoE or something. You don't have any support, so I think it's not good in Zergblade. It's better than, let's say, classes that can't even do the pickup of enemy mages or something, but it's still not a classical Zerg build I would recommend. And then we have Spectre. Spectre is interesting. I would say Spectre is actually, for me, an A tier, maybe even a low S tier build, because you can play it as a support. And the support is actually quite good after the recent buffs. So I think the support element of Spectre is highly underrated, and it's really, really good in Zergblade as well. It's a little bit gimmicky and a little bit difficult to play in comparison to other healers. For example, Vindicator, you just dodge and you use a Ventari tablet, and that's about it. But here you have to target your allies and swap around and stuff, but it's still a very good build, I would say. Really underrated. Maybe low S tier, depends on who you ask. Still very good. Then let's take a look at Ranger. So Ranger for me is interesting because Ranger has the pet, and the pet is actually dying instantly, and that's the problem why you can't play a DPS Ranger or something. So you always have to play some kind of support Ranger, with the exception of Soul Beast, because Soul Beast can merge the pet and the pet will disappear. So I would say Soul Beast, the stances on paper work decently well in a Zerg, but I would say it's not broken. So I would put it in B tier, maybe low A tier. You can make it work, but it's not a crazy good option in my opinion. It needs some rework to make it a little bit more crazy what it can bring to the table for the Zerg. I don't know, it's just not there yet. Then we have Druid. Druid is a very good build as a support. It's got nerfed, yes, but it's still very good. Has amazing boon access, amazing healing, amazing Condi cleanse. It's really good. It's a very good pick as a healer in conjunction, for example, with the Firebrand. With this ability of Firebrand, you get a really nice subgroup already. It's really good. Then we have Untamed. Untamed is interesting because Untamed has the same problem as Core Ranger and Druid with the pet when it comes to DPS, but Untamed has amazing boon strip and stuff. So I would say also the DPS is quite nice and unblockable stuff, so I would put it in high A tier. You can actually play it in Zerg. The pet is a little bit, let's say, annoying to take care of because it dies so fast, but you can make this build work actually. It's not S tier for me because it's just still not there yet in my opinion, but it's still very good. You can play it with Longbow, we can play it even with Hammer if you want. There are many options to play this build. You can also play it with Quickness if you want. And then let's take a look at Engineer. So Engineer I would say is interesting because you have absolutely broken Scrapper. It's extremely strong, probably one of the best supports with Firebrand together. It's extremely strong. It has amazing cleanse access, amazing with shortbow buff access. It's really good. It's a support, really good. So again, another good support. So we have already 4 really good supports here in S tier. See what I'm going for. Then we have Holosmith, probably the best DPS in Zergblade right now. Very, very strong. It's squishy, but if you have the right supports, it's amazing how much damage you can do. It's really, really good. So those 2 engineer specs already really good. Then on the other hand, we have Mechanist. Mechanist is just, don't play it. Your pet dies all the time. You don't have anything. It's very bad at Zergblade. It's people, please don't play it. It's not good. Play those 2. They're absolutely broken, and this one is bad. So please play those. Let's take a look now at the light armor classes. So Mesmer is interesting because Chronomancer got nerfed. I would say it actually got gutted. It was actually really good S tier build for sure, and it got nerfed very hard. I would say you can still play it, but in my opinion, it's not as good as it once was. It still has the pull, it still has amazing boon access to some extent, but the numbers there is actually the protection, the alacrity is gone, that kind of stuff. It's missing stuff that it previously had. So maybe I'm biased here, but I think this was a really good build and now got so much nerfs in the last few weeks, patches, that it's in for high A tier anymore, not S tier anymore. Then we have Virtuoso. You can play with unblockable. It's amazing DPS. It's crazy. You have really good one-shot potential for mages in the backline. You can go through reflex. It's really good. It's a really good DPS. I would say quite underrated, especially with the boon strips that you have. It's crazy good. It got nerfed a little bit in the damage, but it's still very crazy good. And then we have Mirage, which is actually also S tier for me because it's amazing how much damage you can pull off with Greatsword, just because of the ambush. It's really good. You are really squishy, but if you have the right supports and stuff, you have amazing DPS, especially in small scale. It's extremely strong. Now let's take a look at Necromancer. So Necromancer is interesting because Necromancer is Harbinger, which I would say is for me not a very good pick. The only reason why I would pick it in a Zerg is because you can provide quickness to your allies, and that can be helpful. But other than that, I would say it's not insane. Also, the elite elixir is quite decent, but you lose your second shroud, so you're really squishy even if you're playing some kind of tanky variant. It's not that good in Zerg play. It's more a roamer, it's extremely good, but in Zerg play I would say it's not that broken. You can still play it, don't get me wrong. You can play anything here, but probably go rather for a B to S tier build. Maybe you put it in B tier. I'm a little bit harsh here. It's something like that. It depends a bit how you play it, but I think it's not as good as the other two here. So we have Scourge, which also got nerfed very hard. I would say Scourge for me is also only A tier anymore. It was S tier, it was absolutely broken with the cleanses and barrier and stuff, but the barrier access got a little bit gutted. The cooldowns were insanely increased, this was crazy. So I would say A tier for me, it's still very worthwhile to run, but it's not as broken as it once was. Maybe I'm biased again, because I know what it was capable of before, but still, I think Firebrand and Scrap are better as a support. The Boon Rip is nice, but you can also bring Birds, for example. They can also Boon Rip. And I think Reaper is now S tier. I think Reaper, if it wasn't before, it's now S tier because you have crazy Boon Rip as well. You have crazy AoE, you have a lot of damage, you have actually quite a lot of tankiness with your Shroud. So I think very good DPS build as well. So Reaper is probably the best necro spec to play in a Zerg for sure. Now let's talk about Elementalist. So Elementalist is interesting because all of them, like core Elementalist, you could play just as a full DPS build and with Staff, for example, or even with Spear or something if you want, and you just deal damage. Is it broke? I wouldn't say so, because you can get one-shotted from the backline. You just have to stand around a lot, you cast a lot, it's just not that crazy. There was a really good Tempest Aura healing build, so this was S tier, but it got nerfed, so I would say the Tempest build is now A tier for me, because it's not as broken anymore. It's still very worthwhile to run, but I'm talking here about the support variant. The DPS variant of Tempest, I would say, is the worst DPS that you could pick, because your overlords don't provide too much for the most part, because you have to be melee, and if you're playing Staff, you probably don't want to be melee, so it's a little bit counterintuitive. So I would say A tier build for me. You can play the highest DPS spec for Zerg with Staff on Elementalist is Weaver. Weaver is extremely strong, has a crazy DPS access, but is also very squishy. So I would put it in, for that reason, in A tier. It's a very good build for DPS, and you can play it for sure if you're very skilled at World vs. World Zerg play. I would say it's an S tier build because of the high damage that you can provide, but it's also very squishy and you have to position correctly. So I would say it's better if you're in a Zerg to play Holosmith, for example, for the most part. And then we have Catalyst. I think Catalyst is interesting because you can play it something like a DPS Weaver and just double cast your Meteor Shower with your Elemental Celerity, with your cooldown reset on your Elite. I would say it's not as good in Zerg if you play it as a full DPS, and you can play it as some kind of really weird hybrid support and stuff, so I would also put it in low A tier maybe. You can make it work. But I think Elementalist is in a weird spot because if you want to play support, you go for Tempest. If you want to go for DPS, you go for Weaver. And both of them would probably play either Staff, or Tempest could also play Dagger or Dagger Focus. Those two are just the best option for those. So why would you pick a Catalyst or Elementalist? I don't know. They are just not as good, in my opinion. This has more boon access, but typically you don't need that boons because your healing and utility is not that good on Catalyst. So I would say Elementalist is in a weird spot. All of them can be played, and if you play them really good, you could make an argument for putting them in S tier. But I would say for most people, it's more like A tier nowadays. So let me know if you have any disagreements with me here, but I think that's my tier list. I think it makes a lot of sense. I hope you enjoyed this quick tier list. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks to all my supporters on YouTube, Twitch, and Patreon. Thanks Malice, thanks Lane, and I hope to see you all in the next video.